all as well. Keon, it's time. It's time we move to the defensive side of the ball. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, I am ecstatic for this side of the ball.
Let's do it.
Let's do that, shall we? Absolutely. First things first, let's hit that defensive line. One of the best prospects in the country overall. Let's start it off. Elijah Griffin down there at Savannah. This is a must-get prospect. Not because he's like third or second, depending on where you're looking at. It's because he's fitting one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle in our class and on this team, the D-line. And he's second or third, wherever you look at it. Kid is a must-get in this class. I don't necessarily see him leaving the state of Georgia. I think this one's going to come down to, for what it's worth, South Carolina might be one to watch for here. Maybe Clemson, we'll see. But I'm at 6'4", 270, right? Like I said, Savannah, Georgia. In-state kid. On3 has him as third overall. You have to get this kid. You absolutely have to get this kid. There's no question about it. I mean, as Brennan said here, he's a monster. And there's no other way to get around it. Now, Keon, the second name on this list, Justus Terry. That's a current commit. Let these folks know what's up.
I mean, Justus Terry, yet again, certified beast. Really excited to see how he continues to develop his senior year. But, man, I'm telling you, this is definitely going to be one that we truly need to watch. He is going to be jumping off of the screen.
6'5", 275 for Justus Terry out of Manchester, Georgia. So, yeah, I'm just saying those two guys right there. If you land both of those guys, it's nasty work. It's just nasty work at that point. Let's do Isaiah Gibson. Isaiah Gibson actually just come off of a visit as well. I think this kid will commit to Georgia when all's said and done. That's just my thoughts on it. Kid's legit. I mean, listen, most all these guys on this list are going to be legit. Definitely the top two and even the third. But that's just my take. I think Isaiah Gibson, he looks a part of what Georgia looks at D-line. Do you have anything to add to it?
I'm just really excited to see how this class is going to shape out, truth be told. Go ahead and hit him with the next one.
Ooh, let's do it, shall we? All right, next one, Christian Garrett. Excuse me. Christian Garrett's out of Prince Ave, 6'3", 261. Literally in Georgia's back door. I think this was one that probably Georgia could get if they need to. So I think, and it comes to that, I think that's one that obviously, like I said, it's right to back door. Definitely think that's gettable. But again, I think a lot of it is to what Georgia wants to get out of this class. Another two more names, Kevin Wynn and Stephon Shivers. I hope I said that right. Also, this D-line class, obviously, if you get two or three of those, right? Obviously, I think you look at Elijah Griffin, keep Justus Terry, and say if you get a Isaiah Gibson, right, or a Christian Garrett, that D-line haul is ridiculous considering what you got in the 24 class.
100%.
So, I mean, I'm looking at the D-line class. Obviously, you can, you get a couple of those guys, it's going to be extremely top heavy with elite two. I mean, that's 2 5-stars if you land the top two there. But we move to the edge, and I think the edge intrigues me as well, Keon. There's just some freaks in this edge class, and I think Georgia could go crazy and get 3 in this.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you're thinking, or what would your projection be on this class?
I would say a solid 3 as well. I think that's a good amount for us, especially how the last class was a little bit light.
Well, yeah, because you didn't really get I don't think you really got many edge actually at all. I think maybe Quintavious Johnson was the one that you got that you could probably play at edge. So you
Yeah.
didn't really get a lot of edge play in 2024. So obviously that means 2025 you'd load up. And boy, there are some names here. Um, Start off a couple here. Zion Grady decommits from Alabama. De- Listen, once you decommit from Bama, baby, um, Georgia's Georgia's going to push hard for that one anyway. Let's see, going back to Zion. So if you don't know about him, it's it's a freak, man. 6'4", 210. I think he's a little bit light there. He'll probably bump up to probably play in the 225, 230 range. I think that's what prototypically Georgia pushes for. Out of Troy, Alabama. And like I said, decommitted from Alabama. I think watch for Auburn here, right? Watch for Auburn. Uh, but Zion Grady is one that you really want to watch. Keon, what are your thoughts on Zion?
I think he's really impressive, man. I think he comes off the edge very smooth. Um, Yet again, physical up front. I'm going to be excited to see how his recruitment goes. Yet again, I do agree that Auburn is a team there to watch. Another guy I think is going to be very impressive coming out of this year's edge class was that Jared Smith.
Jared Smith, yes. What you got on Jared Smith, sir?
I think Jared Smith is going to be insane. He's one of my favorite guys out of that edge class that I've been looking at so
Yes,
far. Big mauler of a
six
guy,
six six two thirty out of Hoover or Thompson. Excuse me,
man.
Thompson and Hoover. Listen, for what it's worth, Hoover or Thompson's always been a Bama pipeline, but Saban's not here no more. So I think there's a chance. Keon, I think there's a chance.
Yeah, and then there's your guy, Bryce Davis,
Motherfucking Bryce Davis.
Big Baby
Some of
Davis.
the things that I've seen this kid, it's it's freakish, man. It's freakish. Yeah, we'll talk. So I want to do this. I'm gonna come back to this. I want to bring this last one up because I could go on a little quick tangent. Isaiah Gibson, I put as edge too because you could see him be a hybrid guy. For what it's worth. Um, so I think there is that right there too. Bryce Davis, though, guys, if you're not familiar, 6'4", 235 up here at Grimsley, a teammate of Jamal Jarrett. And just if you've watched some of his tape or if you just watch him in practice, his motor, for one, his motor, don't really see a lot of plays getting taken off. Um,
Yeah,
but at the same time, the get off for this kid is stupid. Uh,
it's
watch
it's almost like he has springs in his legs,
I've
man.
watched this kid hit from a C gap. No, not C gap. About probably a 5 or 6 or no 5. Yeah, hit 5. And swing it and do an A gap stunt and was in the backfield before the other guys got off the ball. And I was just like, what? It is mind boggling the speed that this kid gets off the ball with. Also, excellent, excellent pass rusher. But even more importantly, the kid can set the edge amazingly well. Long arms guys, keeps them and forces running backs inside, but also closing speed if they want to try to go out and bump out. So that's obviously something that's super important there with the edge position, as you can tell. Dude, listen, kid needs to come on and commit to Georgia, man. Just get that over with. Personally, I'd love to see
Yeah,
that, but that's just me. Keon, we're gonna move to linebackers. I'm gonna let you talk about this one. 5-star linebacker, right? 5-star linebacker. Riley, is it Pettijohn?
yeah.
Tell us,
Petey John.
Petey John. Okay, tell us more about this. Just
I
tell us
mean,
more about it.
this guy is a certified baller, man. Coming out of my high school, McKinney High School, out of McKinney, Texas. This dude, I'm gonna tell you this: that defense with him and Xavier Philisimi punching, punching. Uh, Very, very fast. Truthfully, he was a wide receiver turned linebacker, and I think it's one of the biggest things to note. He is explosive. He is hitting gaps and coming off that edge, something crazy. That is something I think. Uh, I do think he is one as far as the linebackers go for us this year. He is definitely one for us to watch. I believe he's 6'3", 205, 210.
Yeah,
Might be a
Hunter
little.
has him listed about 200, but basically that 205 range. It
Yeah,
looks
so
good.
definitely an explosive guy. I'm so excited to see him. I'm so excited to see him play this senior year because I know that defense is going to go crazy. McKinney High is going to be something to reckon with moving forward. That defense is crucial, and they are out there punching on something.
Yeah, I think that's that's an interesting name because that's another linebacker. When we just brought up the start of the show, right? Georgia gets it just gets three linebackers, two of them 5 stars, right?
Hmm.
And then you look at another 5 star there that you're trying to push for as well. But some other names here, obviously Zayden Walker, guys. Zayden Walker. He's I don't even know how to explain it. Kid is a freak, man.
Unreal,
It
unreal,
is
unreal.
it is nasty work, guys. Nasty work. Um, Obviously the Georgia prospect too, in-state kid. Oh boy, that is. I don't really know how to put it there, but yeah, the kid is a freak. Um, Depending on he's an outside linebacker, but I think also you could depend on how. I think Georgia probably would put him as a backer because I don't see him being tall enough to play the edge that Georgia typically looks at prototypically. Looking at like a 6'1.5", 6'2", route 225. Again, that fits the what you're looking at a linebacker perspective there, right? Ties out. Um, Again, absolute freak, right? Schley County. So another in-state kid. If you've not noticed, 2025 is absolutely stacked in the state of
Yeah,
Georgia.
uh, well, I mean, overall, when you look at the linebacker position, you are getting certified dogs each and every level, every last one of these guys. Then you have Jaden Pilati there as well,
Yep.
out of Buford, Georgia, teammates, former teammates with KJ Bolden as well. Man, aggression, plays with a high motor. I'm excited to see what his senior year looks like. Um, Want to see more of his coverage ability, being able to kind of get sideline to sideline. Downhill, he's bullying you.
Yeah,
There's no
he's
way.
a physical freak when it comes to being aggressive and tackling. You're gonna if you're gonna get a very sure tackler with Perlotti.
100%.
I
100%.
think the coverage is something that you'll probably see the growth there. Try to senior year grow upon that. Again, if you're committed to Georgia and if he sticks, I think Schumann's going to be the best guy to develop you too. Um, so I think there is that as well. Let's see some other names here. Nathaniel Owusu Botang, kid out of IMG, 6'2", 210. I think you're looking at in-state schools there, Florida, Miami initially. But I do think that is a name that you probably want to keep an eye out for. Uh, Definitely want to,
There it
yeah,
is.
absolutely. Ding, fries are done. Um, but no, I think that's another name that you probably want to watch out for to see what transpires there. So it could be something
Hmm.
brewing. And then also Christian Gas. A lot of people probably might not know that name, but the kid can ball. Okay, the kid can absolutely ball. That's another one too. I think you probably see him as a hybrid situation too, depending on how you view it. Right? You depending on how you project him. It's how you project him.
Yet again, I pulled the list back up so the people can see them. Uh, Yet again, top to bottom, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you slice it, it is nothing but certified dogs in this linebacker class. Really just had a conversation. It's crazy. I was on Twitter Spaces just yesterday having a conversation. Like, man, Georgia's gotta offer this kid. I mean, I've been seeing him play these past couple of years up close. This kid is a baller. Yet again, Riley. Shout outs to him. He actually just got his offer today, which was the craziest thing in the world because we was just having this conversation 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like we gotta offer this kid, and hopefully we get him yet again. Uh, Dude, just a physical guy, man, and I think that's something that Glenn Schumann and Muschamp are definitely cued in on. Uh, Certified dog, it's gonna be crazy. I'm excited to see how these guys' senior years shape out. Their junior years, for the most part, each and every last one of these guys that we have here on this list, they have sat up here and made play after play, the game changers. So moving forward, really excited to see how that senior year looks.
Also, if you're listening, excuse me, if you're listening or tuning in right now, let us know what your thoughts are. If you'd like to hear about more of these Twitter X spaces, man, a lot of insight there into Georgia football. Then obviously, easy access to myself, Keon, right?
Yep.
So we did that last Wednesday. Keon, how'd that go?
Went pretty well. Truly enjoyed it. Look forward to possibly doing another one moving forward. But overall, I felt like it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I think we need to see what the brigade thinks. So let us know in the comments if you like the idea. And if you do, just go to our Twitter or just go to the website and find us on Twitter, and be on the lookout for those if that's the case. Again, a lot of insight into recruiting, the current state of the team, anything Georgia related, you can hear that on there. And it's very easy, right? Very easy. It's
Yeah.
very quick and accessible to speak to us. It's
Hmm.
almost like a call-in show, if you will. um, I guess for me, that's probably the best way to explain it. It's kind of like a call-in show, but it's very quick and accessible. You don't have to do a lot. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple and it's
100%.
fairly, very, very interactive. But yeah, just let us know what you think about that in the comments. And if you like it, we get enough traction, we might just run with it, and see what happens. But Keon, we've got some secondary to cover. Secondary is about to be interesting, by the way.
Hmm.
Um,
Let's see
let's
it.
see here. First things first, Naeem Alford. Naeem Alford, Bama prospect, right? Bama prospect, but I think it's going to be a lot of in-state situation there with him. I do think, I do think that Georgia can make a push there, and if you do with T-Rob, oh boy, oh boy, just gonna leave that there. That kid is downright dangerous, folks. Downright dangerous.
Yep. Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing how his senior year goes out. Very physical, most definitely. I mean, he's definitely a person you don't want to play a game of tag with because he's going to be hitting you up. Uh, I'm excited, man.
Yep, yep. No, I think you're right, man. I definitely think you're right there. 6'1", 180, fifth overall in the country. Auburn's actually got a slight lead if you look at projections, however you take them. Um, Again, it's all about how you feel about it. But yeah, let's see. Next on the list, Jonte Gilbert. Now, Jonte Gilbert is out of Douglas, right in Atlanta area, 6'1", 180. Look, I think Georgia was a player there. Uh, I'm curious to see though, if you like, it's again projections got him looking at Clemson and South Carolina, but Georgia's a major factor there. I'm just curious to see if that is someone that Georgia really pursues hard with, if that makes sense. But I do think, right, I do think that he's worth the take. He's a take in this class, if that makes sense.
100%. 100%.
Let's see. Next one, Kobe Sellers. Kobe Sellers, probably somebody that Georgia might not necessarily be as in on at the moment. Do think that there's potential to see some of that come in. Uh, Again, we'll see what that looks like as well. Chris Ewald. I think Chris Ewald to me is more intriguing here. Um, Former Michigan DB commit, recently decommits after like almost immediately after a Georgia visit, and I think that T Rob and the staff are going to push hard for this one. That's just my thoughts, and honestly, that's what I want as well. 5'11", 6'6", excuse me, 5'11", 161, so a little bit light. Um, yeah, so let's see, other ones, Drayden Fulbright, Tay Harris, obviously Keon Tay Harris decommits
Hmm.
Sunday. Ironically, Kirby goes to Cedartown.
Yeah.
Goes to Cedartown today. And then at the safety position, I think this is interesting. Keon Anquan Figgins. Anquan Figgins. I think Georgia's going to try to make a play with Dante, Coach Williams here.
100%.
Uh,
I could see him. I could definitely see him coming in and trying to bridge the gap there.
see, again, Fegans was a definite like a lock, almost I would say what felt like a lock to USC. But again, Dante Williams leaves. I think that's a name to watch. Definitely, that's a name to watch. Keon, overall, some of these names. What are some names that stick out to you as ones that Georgia is a must-have? What are you most excited for?
For me, I'm gonna say Jonte. There's a couple other guys that I was looking at as well. Um, but as of now, I'm looking at Jonte as the main one that I think we truly got to go in with. Fegans as well. That's another one. I think Dante is going to help us close the gap on that.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously, I've got some of the North Carolina kids right. I'm gonna go back on them. Obviously, Bryce Davis, Shamari, and Nasir. I'm gonna keep obviously heavy eyes on there. Love to see him in red and black. Um, Outside of that, though, give me Elijah Griffin and Justus Terry paired up. I would absolutely love that. And Zion Grady, if you can make it happen, give me that bolster that defensive line and the edge up for sure. I think that's going to be key.
Now, out of the corners slash safety group, uh, out of the corner group, yeah, that definitely go with those two. I think Riley is one that you have to go with as well. Strong, fast, physical. Plus, it also helps us when it comes to truly developing that Texas pipeline. Uh, Yet again, you named the defensive lineman as well that I was looking at. Uh, Got to go with Big Bryce, Big Baby
Kids
Bryce.
free.
Can't leave him. Terry as well. Yet again, you named everybody on that defensive line that I think that we should go with. But as far as like the linebackers and stuff go, um, you got to keep Jaden. I heavily pursue Riley and Zayden as well. You get those two. I think our linebacker class looks insane.
I think this is a good comment to wrap this thing up with, man. Samuel Matthew over on Twitter or X says Georgia could not leave the state meeting that they could stay in state and get a number one class. That is how deep this class is in the state of Georgia. To put
100%.
it into perspective, obviously Kirby's going to go nationwide. There's a reason why he brought in Dante. There's a reason why you went and brought in T-Rob. You brought in some heavy hitters on the recruiting trail, and all of them should pay off in 25.